How's everybody doing? You all fired up, ready to make this happen? Well, let me say, I am beyond thrilled to be here today to support the next President and Vice President of the United States, Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine. But before we get into things, I just want to take a moment to thank your Attorney General and soon-to-be Governor, Roy Cooper, for that wonderful introduction. And I want to recognize a few more people as well. Congresswoman Alma Adams, who is here. Your candidate for Lieutenant Governor, Linda Coleman. And of course, I want to thank all of you for being here, taking the time out of your busy days. I love you too. It's good to be back in North Carolina, and it's a beautiful day with a beautiful room full of people. And I have been so nostalgic campaigning. Can you believe I'm campaigning again? But I'm happy to be out here because this is the last time. And I can't believe that it's almost election day. We're getting there, folks, right? And we're coming to the end of our time, my family's time in the White House. Yeah. As I've said, it's fine. It's fine because we got a good replacement in Hillary Clinton, so we'll be good. But as I've been traveling around campaigning, I've just been sharing how this time is I'm mixed about this time. It's a little bittersweet because we are experiencing a time of great transition. For me and Barack and Malia and Sasha and Bo and Sonny and Grandma, all of us. As we figure out what we're gonna do next, I gotta get my husband to work. I'm gonna need a job, but it'll be a job out of politics. My husband's gotta get a job. Somebody's gotta hire that man. They're making us move, so we're getting a new house. We have to pack up the old house, and as Barack says, we gotta make sure we get our security deposit back, so we're working on that. But as it is a great time of transition for our family, I know it's a great time of transition for the entire country as we decide who our next president is going to be. And times like these can be difficult. We're feeling it, right? There's a lot of anxiety, a lot of uncertainty, and that's natural. We saw that in 2008 when Barack was first elected. I've reminded people that there were folks who had plenty of questions about what kind of president Barack would be. They wondered, would he understand us? Rightly, they wanted to know, would he protect us? But then, of course, there were those who had different questions. Questions that they continue to ask for the past 8 years, whether Barack was born in this country. As I've said, these questions are hurtful, deceitful, and they were designed to deliberately undermine his presidency. And I want to remind people, these are questions that cannot be blamed on others. They cannot be swept under the rug with an insincere sentence at a press conference. And I think that during his time in office, my husband has answered those questions with the example he set and the dignity he has shown by always going high when they go low. And he's answered those questions with the progress that we have all achieved together. Progress like passing health reform, creating millions of jobs, slashing the unemployment rate, lifting millions of people out of poverty, expanding LGBT rights so marriage equality is now the law of the land. I could go on and on and on. But even after all this progress, it is understandable that folks are feeling a little uncertain as we face this next transition. So the question now before us all is, how do we sort through all the negativity, all the name-calling that we've been experiencing, and choose the right person to lead our country forward? Well, I'm out here because I'm sharing what I think is a unique perspective that I have. As someone who has seen the presidency up close and personal, I want to share with you what I have learned about this job, watching it every day for the last 7.5 years. First and foremost, this job is very hard. I have said it again and again, it is the highest stakes, most 24/7 job you can possibly imagine. The issues that cross a president's desk are never easy. He doesn't get the easy questions. The solutions to persistent systemic challenges are never black and white. And just think about the crises that Barack has faced just these last 8 years. In his first term alone, Barack had to rescue our economy from the worst crisis since the Great Depression. He had to make the call to take out Osama bin Laden. He's had to respond to devastating natural disasters like Hurricane Sandy and so much more. So when it comes to the qualifications that we should demand of our president, to start with, we need someone who will take the job seriously. And that means we need someone who will actually study and prepare so that they understand the issues better than anyone else on their team. And trust me, we need someone with superb judgment in their own right. Because yes, a president can hire the best on earth, but let me tell you, 5 advisors will give the president 5 different opinions. And the president alone always has to make the final call. We also need someone who is steady and measured, because when making life or death, war or peace decisions, a president can't just pop off or lash out irrationally. And I think we can all agree that someone who's roaming around at 3 a.m. tweeting should not have their fingers on the nuclear codes. We need someone who's honest and plays by the rules, because not paying taxes for years and years while the rest of us pay our fair share doesn't make you smarter than the rest of us. No, we need a president who will choose to do what's best for the country, even when it doesn't personally benefit them. And finally, we need a president who's compassionate, who truly cares about all our families, someone who will help us take on the hard issues our communities face, not just with slogans about law and order, but with real solutions to heal our divisions here in Charlotte and all across this country. So, at the end of the day, as I've said again and again, the presidency doesn't change who you are. It reveals who you are. And the same is true of a presidential campaign. U.S. presidential campaigns are very long, nearly 2 years or half of one presidential term, which gives voters a chance to get to know and observe a candidate's behavior over a meaningful period of time. So, if a candidate traffics in prejudice, fear, and lies on the campaign trail, if a candidate mocks people with disabilities or folks who are sick, if a candidate implies that veterans who serve our country so bravely are somehow weak because they're dealing with the wounds of war, if a candidate regularly demeans and humiliates women, making cruel and insulting comments about our bodies, criticizing how we look, how we act, well, sadly, that's who that candidate really is. That's the kind of president they will be. And trust me, a candidate is not going to suddenly change once they're in office. Just the opposite, in fact, because, see, the minute that individual takes that oath, they are under the hottest, harshest light there is. And there is no way to hide who they really are. But see, at that point, it's too late. They're the leader of the world's largest economy, the commander-in-chief of the most powerful military force on earth. With every word they utter, they can start wars, crash markets, fundamentally change the course of our planet. So who in this election is truly ready for this job? Well, I agree. For me, there is only one candidate in this race who we can trust with those responsibilities, only one person with the qualifications and temperament for this job, and that person is our friend Hillary Clinton, without a doubt. Without a doubt. We know that Hillary's the right person because we've seen her character and commitment, not just during the campaign, but over the course of her entire life. We've seen her dedication to public service, how after law school she became an advocate for kids with disabilities. She fought for children's health as First Lady, for quality child care as a senator. And when she didn't become president in 2008, Hillary didn't just throw in the towel. No, she once again answered the call to serve and earned sky-high approval ratings. She earned sky-high approval ratings as our Secretary of State. And for those who question her stamina to be president, Hillary's resilience is more than proven. As she said in the debate last week, she's the only candidate in this race who has traveled to 112 countries, who has negotiated a ceasefire, a peace agreement, a release of dissidents, who spent 11 hours testifying before a congressional committee. Hillary Clinton is tough. See, I've watched her. When she gets knocked down, she doesn't complain. She doesn't cry foul. No, she gets right back up, comes back stronger for the people who need her most. And let's not forget that Hillary is one of the few people on this entire planet, and clearly the only person in this race who has any idea what this job entails. The staggering stakes, the brutal hours, the overwhelming stresses. See, and this is the beauty of it. She knows this, and yet she's still willing to do this job. See, because Hillary was raised to believe that she has an obligation to use her talents to help as many people as possible. And that is why she's running. See, now for me, that's dedication. That's what love of country looks like. So when I hear folks saying that they're just not feeling inspired in this election, I really have to disagree. Because right now, we have an opportunity to elect one of the most qualified people who has ever endeavored to become president. Hillary, I remind people, Hillary has been a lawyer, a law professor, First Lady of Arkansas, First Lady of the United States, a U.S. Senator, Secretary of State. See, Charlotte, that is why I'm inspired by Hillary. That's why I'm here. I'm inspired by her persistence and consistency. I'm inspired by her heart and her guts. I'm inspired by her lifelong record of service. No one in our lifetime has ever had as much experience and exposure to the presidency. Not Barack, not Bill, nobody. And yes, she just happens to be a woman. So as someone who has experienced this, trust me, experience matters. Preparation matters. Temperament matters. And Hillary Clinton has it all. She is the real deal. And I have come to know her very well over the years. And I know that she is more than ready, more than able to be an outstanding president for us all. So we cannot afford to squander this opportunity, particularly given the alternative. Because we know that being president isn't anything like reality